Still, nephew, I wasn't even gonna get on, but sometimes I gotta do things out of my control. I forget. I'm so used to chilling, staying out the way. I forget I gotta do this shit. I ain't forget, but I was gonna take a bigger break. But thanks to the divine, your boy here. You feel me? Take a seat, nephew. Take your shoes off. You know I don't like you get your muddy shoes on my goddamn carpet, nigga. We know we gonna play a little bit of Mississippi gin. Now I need some gin, nephew. I need some cranberry. I need some Sprite. And I need some gin. That's some Mississippi gin, nephew. If you don't know, now you know. Yeah, let me play a little bit of that before my goons come in here.
Mississippi gin, Mississippi gin, cranberry Sprite, I got that Mississippi gin. Mississippi gin, Mississippi gin, cranberry Sprite, I got that Mississippi gin. I can't kick it with you, baby, you was not my sin. I can't take a Uber to you, I'll take a lift.
Get your bananas, nephew.
Please let me in, got that cranberry Sprite, and I mix it with my gin, not that Mississippi gin. Mississippi gin, I'm spinning with my baby like a turning a Mississippi gin, Mississippi gin, I'm in the outskirts, yeah, I'm trapping with the gin. Baby, I'm that short, get out, why do you see my fan? Finny is a fur, baby,
Ain't no
yeah, we
Illuminati,
move
nigga.
yeah, we move the
I'm a
wind.
real
No
Illuminati,
limits
nigga.
time, baby, I had limits,
It's
I
in the
had to make
blood.
some mind. Know the alchemy, know the
It's in the
alchemy,
blood,
baby,
dude.
we
I ain't
just
no
chillin'
fake
on that
Illuminati.
damn
I'm a real Illuminati, nigga.
Mississippi gin,
Real royal.
Mississippi gin,
They
cranberry
just
Sprite, I
throwing
got
our
that
shit down,
Mississippi
nigga.
gin, Mississippi
They
gin,
ain't even talk about
Mississippi
them
gin,
cousins.
niggas getting mad,
Them
flying on the
cousins, nephew.
dragon,
Let's hear the song, nephew. Look.
Mississippi gin, Mississippi gin, cranberry Sprite, I got that
Bless
Mississippi
you.
gin, feeling like a shark, and
Bless
I
you,
want to
young
see
man.
my fins, baby getting mad, cause I
Oh,
spit,
nigga already
spit,
coming in.
spit,
Look. It's
Mississippi
that
gin,
picture, nigga.
Mississippi
It was
gin,
something
I
easy.
can't take no Uber to you, I'll take a lift, please let me in, please let me in, got that cranberry, yo, mix it with my gin, Mississippi gin, Mississippi gin, cranberry Sprite, got that Mississippi gin.
No,
Mississippi
please,
gin,
please,
Mississippi
please.
gin, cranberry Sprite, I got that Mississippi gin. Mississippi gin, Mississippi gin, cranberry Sprite, I got that Mississippi gin. I can't kick it with you, baby, you was not my sin. I can't take a Uber to you, I'll take a lift. Please let me in, please let me in. Got that cranberry Sprite, and I mix it with my gin, not that Mississippi gin. Mississippi gin, I'm spinning with my baby like a tornado. Mississippi gin, Mississippi gin, I'm in the outskirts, yeah, I'm trapping with the gin. Baby, I'm that short, get out, why do you see my fan? Finny is a fur, baby, yeah, we move the wind, yeah, we move the wind. No adventure time, baby, I had limits, I had to make some mind. Know the alchemy, baby, we just chillin' on that damn balcony. Mississippi gin, Mississippi gin, cranberry Sprite, I got that Mississippi gin, Mississippi gin,
Appreciate it, bro.
Mississippi gin.
Appreciate it. Hit that like button for me, please. Hit that like button for me, bro. Double tap the screen for me, man. They don't pay me.
Mississippi
Me.
gin, Mississippi
I did
gin,
it.
cranberry Sprite,
This
I got
my
that
song.
Mississippi gin. Feeling like a
Yeah,
shark,
this
and I
me.
want to see my fin.
EG
Baby,
Fisker.
getting
It's
mad,
me.
cause I spin.
This made the other day.
Mississippi gin,
My
I
shit.
can't take no Uber to you, I'll take a lift. Please let me in, please let me in. Got
Yeah,
that
bro.
cranberry, yo, mix it
Look,
with
now you got me
gin.
geek.
Mississippi gin,
Now
Mississippi
you got me geek,
gin,
nephew. Look,
cranberry.
now you got me geek. Yeah, that's my song, bro. EG Fisker, the one and only, bro. It's called Mississippi Gin. If you type in If you type in E.G. Fisker, EJJIFISKER, Mississippi Gin. Oh yeah, bro, I've been doing this for years, bro. I've been doing this for years, bro. I've been making bangers, dude. I'm doing well. Yeah, bro, type in E.G. Fisker on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. E.G. Fisker, EJJIFISKER. There's only one E.G. Fisker. You're going to see the song on my page that got like 3,000 subs. I just dropped it the other day. It's called Mississippi Gin. Pretty good song though. It's for the love, for your girl, for your man, and y'all just chilling. And then to bring in the alchemical magical effect, and if you can balance out your liquor, you get some gin. You don't get too much gin because gin is strong. You got to respect gin. You get a little bit of gin, you get some cranberry juice, and then you get some Sprite. That's the Mississippi gin. That's the Mississippi gin. You sip that, it's going to actually make the drink better. You're not going to have to do too much drinking because there's an alchemical recipe in that drink. Appreciate it, man. You have talent, much potential. Thank you very much. Thank you for the love. Appreciate the love, because I don't really get that much on this motherfucker, but I got the whole world watching me. So if people send me love, I appreciate it, because that's all I do is send love out. Even sometimes I got to pull out the sword. I have too big of a heart to forget about the good people of the world, dude. What do you think I do this for, dude? I do it for the good people. I ain't no wicked person, friend. I'm always going to be the good people, friend. You feel me? I'm always going to keep my heart open for my people. Blue, red, white, orange, it don't matter. It's about what's inside, and I'm there for my people. But shout out to y'all, though. Hit that like button for me, boy. But yeah, that's Mississippi Gin. But yeah, man. I'm picking up what's going on in the ether. If you don't know, I'm a shaman, bro. Papa Fisk. Papa Fisk is a shaman. I've been on the block for a little bit. You may not know who I am, but I've been doing this stuff for a minute. You can just look at my videos, bro. I ain't no novice. I'm not a novice to the game, you know? I guess you could say I'm a prophet. I'm more than a prophet, but I guess you could put me in that realm, but I'm a little more deeper than that. I'm a shaman. I'm one of the ancients. Just look at my line of work. And if you're an upright, divine being, looking for divine information, I'm that guy for you, man, because I only go off the divine tune. I don't do this for no money. I don't do this for no clicks. I've been doing this in the most inconvenient times of my life, just meaning like, even in initiation, you see me pop up. Even when I got the whole world coming at me, even when I was in them trenches, people trying to poison me, I was popping up. I don't really do this when time is convenient. I do it because I'm divinely pushed to do it. I don't really be bullshitting. Yeah, and these times people are wicked. Times get more dangerous. Kindness is yet needed. Yes, it is, dude. Kindness goes a long way too, man. That's why I always hold the door for the good ones. I don't close my heart off, but I'm very protective over my energy who gets it. I'm not just out here, look, heart open, legs open. I know it feels good to have your legs open sometimes. And that's what we finna talk about. Thank God I got saved the other day. But yeah, sometimes it feels good, but you gotta think, we're in the world of mimicking spirits. Like, just because there's divine beings out here doesn't mean everybody's divine. And this is a reflection to all different ethnicities. Not all skin folk are kinfolk. They have intentionally made it to where we just need to rely on our own skin because they can infiltrate us and put in these archons. No matter what, you should never look at it like that. I don't care if you are black supremacist, white supremacist, that's the wrong way to go. Because if you're on that mindset, you can literally have an archon bloodline, an archon set all around you, and they look just like you. And that's where the traps usually come about. But if you release that and you go off of energy and light, you're going to meet people from different ethnicities carrying the same thing you got within your being, similar. So never ever look at color, look at energy and divinity. because that's what God has divided and conquered right now. The whole world gonna be unified through the divinity of the great mother, not because of their color, not because of their color. It's their like minds and what they're connected to on a divine level. Yeah, you already know, bro. Yeah, them energy vampires, them archons. Dude, I don't like archons. That's what I'm here to do. Finish the archon. Finish Molech out. Finish the final boss Molech. That's what we're really here to do. That's the devil of the divine beings, is Moloch. That's basically the archon deity of the head. The one that put this religion out here. Not the religion, not the Bible, but the religion behind the Bible. All these churches that's dang near the same and what they do behind the scenes and what they do to children. That's that Moloch spirit. They got nothing to do with good, like, that has nothing to do with the Lord. If you are demonizing people that have a different type of tone than you, but they're divine confirmation, and you're demonizing them, but you're behind the scenes attacking them with a book, you're behind the scenes doing group rituals, you're behind the scenes touching children, that's that Moloch energy. You're behind the scenes sacrificing children, that's that Moloch thing. That thing has no soul because he has to do too much to get energy. That is Yadabrath, basically. Yadabrath is Moloch. He's weak as hell, but he's actually dying off to where when he dies off, the spirit of narcissism can't be birthed unless you keep grooming people to be narcissists. That's basically what we're talking about. But Moloch is finna die off in this cycle. Moloch ain't gonna be here no more. It's gonna be a final boss battle, and then Moloch is gonna put his last little bits and pieces in it. And then when we destroy this boss battle, Moloch is gone. Then we have to worry about the tyrannical beings on the outskirts. And then when we take care of them, this planet is going to be freed. This planet ain't going to be on a low vibration. It ain't really on a low vibration. It's rising, but it's still at the bottom a little bit. So we're helping this planet be in a better state. But that Moloch energy is definitely out here, and he's definitely dying off. But yeah, I got to speak about fearing divine consequences is saving you, man. I don't care what nobody say. You got to have a little fear of the divine because you got to think. You can't just think you could do anything and don't have any repercussions behind it, especially when you've been elevating. That's like me. I don't smoke weed no more, bro. It's been like over 2 months. And let's just say I get in a state of boredom and I don't second guess my decisions and I have that in my mind all of a sudden, oh, let me go smoke weed. And that comes with repercussions. When the divine has released something from you, when you have your divine spiritual team actively healing you, actively filling that crutch spot with some divinity so you don't feel it, and you intentionally put it in your mind to do it, and you're not guessing why you want to do it, there's spiritual repercussions that might be more costly than you consuming that thing. Just for an example, let's just say you've been on a 2-month streak of not smoking. Next thing you know, you smoke. Next thing you know, your wallet's gone. Next thing you wake up, your book bag's gone. Next thing you know, you wake up, all your important documents are scattered on the street. That's because you went against divine law. You went against obedience. You know what I mean? You gotta have a little bit of fear in the divine, bro. And when it comes to consequences, you do, bro, because it puts you in your place. That don't mean you fear God. No. You just gotta fear what'll come if you do some dumb shit. And you know there's some dumb shit out here. There's some dumb shit you can do. I remember the other day, bro. I ain't nutted in like 4 months, bro. And sometimes, nigga, you wanna, hell yeah, bro. Sometimes you just wanna see some poon and some butt. Dude, I stopped myself. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, dude, I can't do that shit. Even though because I'm like, bro, I'm just me. I'm single, but I'm not single. It's like, I know who I am. I'm connected to her on a spiritual realm. But it's like, I don't see her physically. And sometimes I think I'm okay. But knowing I'm not okay, that's just me being on autopilot. But when I'm aware, I know I can't do that shit. Right? But sometimes I catch myself feeling that kundalini spike, feeling like a horn dog. And I had to ask myself, because I know how this divine consort is. She kind of crazy, not in a bad way, but she just don't play. She don't play. It took a lot for her to be around me in the past because I wasn't elevated, but now I'm elevated. Now she can really hijack my reality. And I had that feeling to go look at some stuff the other day. I'm not gonna lie, but the fear of knowing what she can do put me in my place. Because the great mother was like, great mother, this is how fierce this woman is. The great mother said, I'm not going to deal with you in that department. She's just as fierce as me, maybe even a little fiercer, because she's crazy in love with you, and y'all been connected for before time. So there's an entitlement there that isn't coming from jealousy and the negative state. It's because it's balanced. It's congruent. Yeah, it's a war inside, bro. You ain't lying. It's because of alignment. Dude, there's been plenty of times I remember confirmation. I was watching that adult content. This was months ago. Dude, I was blind a little bit in the eyes. I'm talking about blind a little bit. Look, I'm looking at it on my phone. I'm not gonna lie. This wasn't recently, bro. She would have been on my ass. Next thing you know, the birds coming out the tree. I'm like, what the fuck? She let me know, nigga, don't do it. Don't you dare do it. I remember, this is when I wasn't really aware. I'm in a fucking Motel 6. This is probably what it is, watching me beat my meat. They're probably watching me beat my meat in there, bro. This nigga, look, nigga, I don't know if it was the hidden cameras or something. This nigga came up in here and was like, hey, bro, you want to smoke? I'm like, bro, you saved me, bro. I'm over here fornicating, watching bullshit. You done saved my life. This was a minute ago. You basically saved me. But that's that divine consort. She don't want to hijack my reality, but she has to, she will. But just knowing how she is, she don't have no mercy for me when it come to me looking at other women that certain type of way. Like, I can't, ignorance was bliss. Let's just say that. But now that I know, she's not going to give me no break. I'm talking about, you think you can get away with it, but you can't. When you've been rising and elevating, and there's things that you've been released from, there ain't no going back to it, bro. You got to just put that divine consequence thing in your mind. Like, something bad going to happen if you do it. I'm not talking about that scary, you're going to go to hell shit. I'm talking about real shit. There's divine forces that lower themselves just to be around you and protect you due to your energy not being at a certain place for them to connect to. Yeah. You right about that. Yeah, then the addictions. Yes, it is. Yeah, we got forces out here that are protecting us and dimming their light to protect us. And you over there disrespecting what they do for you by going back to something they released you from? Dude, they're going to make an example out of that situation to where you never do it again. That's why it's like, dude, I'm glad I second guess myself. Like, I can't go out here and look at that stuff, because the next thing you know, I might end up nutting. I'm like, that's going to mess up my 4-month streak. I don't want to mess up my 4-month streak. I'd rather leave that stuff alone. I end up making music. Don't get me wrong. You're always going to be a horn dog if that's who you are, but not in that type of way where you hurting yourself. I'll be a horn dog just to use that energy, because lust, I can't say you can get rid of your lust, you really can't. But you just don't look at certain women a certain type of way. You don't watch corn. You got to use that lust in another way in your passions. Stuff, you got to transmute the lust. Sexual transmutation, Napoleon Hill. That's what I do. But sometimes you just want to look at it, because it's like, dude, you start to try to justify it, like, okay, I'm not out here fucking nobody. And you think it's okay, but it ain't okay. The divine, I don't know if you got a consort, I don't know, but your divine helpers, they will push you to another direction. Somebody will knock on your door. You get a phone call. This is confirmation. When I touch my nose, that's confirmation. You get a warning, like, hey, you ain't supposed to do that. Especially if you got the dark goddesses, confirmation, the dark primordial beings. They're not evil, they're just primordial and ancient. Someone that be protecting us, and they don't play. They don't play. Angels don't play either, but these motherfuckers, confirmation. Did you hear that? That's how they coming. They coming in. They letting you know they around. You heard that? Yeah, confirmation. He heard that. Yeah, they don't play. Like I said, that might be that bitch up there. That's why I'm like, dude, I'm glad I got that type of not fear, like I'm scared, but I don't want to go through that, bro. I've already been climbing the ladder. And I would hate for her to think that I'm cheating on her. I'm not really cheating on her, but I'm cheating on her. Because she wouldn't be acting like that. It's like you giving away your sexual energy to something else. You don't have to do that. You can think about her in your head. And she'll like that more. And that's devotion more than you putting energy out somewhere else. Hell yeah, bro. That's why I don't do that shit no more, man. Divine confirmation. You hear him. You hear spirit. Yeah, you better off staying away from that shit. Just like some people got a problem with liquor. If they saved you from liquor, leave the liquor alone. Leave that stuff alone. Don't keep drinking. Something bad gonna happen. Especially when the bigger they are, the harder they fall. You gotta look at that like elevation. Bro, you 30,000 feet in the air. And you want to drop low, this was some low vibrational shit, you're going to hurt yourself. Because as you rise and elevate, your abilities come in, your true archetypal DNA come in because you elevating your conscious. So your body has to operate on that level. And then when you do something low vibrational, you're messing up your immune system, you're messing up your connection with the divine, you're messing up your connection with your spiritual team. You're holding your ancestors back because your ancestors are connected to you. And you're doing everybody that's rocking with you a disservice backtracking. And I know we can't be perfect, but when you're on a certain type of level, there ain't no going back. That's like Canelo fighting somebody that's 0-3. Canelo can't do that. That's like Tyson Fury fighting somebody 3-16. He can't do that. You can't go back and fight those type of fights no more, bro. You gotta fight those championship fights. You're lowering yourself. You're not getting any better fighting those type of people. Even Deontay Wilder, even though he lost 3 of his last 4 fights, Deontay Wilder can't go back. It's like Deontay Wilder, you gotta figure it out while you up there, bro. We know you've been losing fights, bro, but you can't go back too much. Just like you. We know those past fights you were able to dibble and dabble and fight those lower level competition, but now you're in the big leagues when it comes to your energy. You can't go back to that stuff. You can't go back to that stuff, bro. I don't care how enticing it is. You can't go back to it. You're gonna mess up everything for your people and for yourself. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But that's what we just here to talk about the ones that are awake. Them niggas, you know, these always gonna be a sleepy nigga. It's always gonna be a sleep nigga. Them niggas that, you know, they're not on no type of frequency. They always, you know what I'm saying? You know they're around, but we speaking to the ones that's kind of aware and that know better, but think it's okay to go back on some certain things. We really can't. We really can't. You're gonna end up messing something up. Confirmation, I remember my initiations and all that. And there was even things that even the primordial father couldn't come around me because my energy, I'm not gonna say it was low, but he would hurt himself more than him being around me. So I'm elevated to a point where I can be right there with my people. My primordial father, my primordial mother, the divine construct in the spirit. If I go back, I'm gonna end up disrupting those connections. I'm like, why would I do that? Confirmation. Confirmation. It's definitely a dangerous game if you're not aware. It can be a dangerous game if you're not aware. You gotta be aware. That's why it's like you just second guess what you feel. That's all that is. You second guess what you feel, and you ask yourself, "Is this for my best benefit?" If it ain't for your best benefit, don't do it. You know, if it ain't for your highest evolution, don't do it. It's playing chess out here. You don't just make moves on a chessboard. You sit back and you be like, wait a minute, if I move here, he can move there. But if I move here, I can checkmate him in a few moves. That's how you look at it. Your decisions have to be checkmate when it comes to taking down goals and moving forward. That's how you want to look at decisions. Like when you're elevating, every decision keeps you in alignment and elevating or going back. So you really got to take your time with things, even how you respond to people, because you know the devil is in people. How you going to respond when the devil is trying to get you to react? You really got to sit with yourself. Confirmation with my phone trying to drop. You really got to sit with yourself and be like, I know he got the devil in him. I know this nigga wicked, but I'm not going to let him get my energy. And what ends up happening is they get all that negative energy they were trying to project on you back to them. And it's chess, not checkers out here, man. It's chess, not checkers. Thank God I had jobs that helped me fix my wrath. Because I wouldn't call it anger, it's wrath. I didn't know how to process my wrath to where I would end up becoming a problem after these people targeted me. I'm like, you know what? Even though they were provoking me, it was up to me not to act a fool. Because sometimes I used to act a fool. I'm not going front, but I was young. I wasn't young, but I was learning. Yeah. I feel you on that. I call these niggas, you know, the devil. Yeah. Devil, you know, I forgot the word. But yeah, basically. But I'm so glad Goodwill showed me that to protect my anger. And not protect it, but really watch how I react. Because without that job, without me messing up, I wouldn't have learned my lesson. Because I remember I went to all cast. That's the worst job you can have, especially when you got that light. Dude, they were hating on me from the rip. They were hating on me from the rip. I'm talking about, dude, from the rip, they were hating on me, dude. I'm talking about, dude, I'm like, dude was yelling at me, and I was able to keep my calm, keep my composure. They were watching me like a hawk in there. Didn't lash out on dude. Not once. It was because of that job I had, bro. It helped me control my wrath. And not to react, but to respond. If it wasn't for me messing up, I wouldn't have learned my lesson. I just give thanks to Goodwill because I learned not to react. I learned to respond. Then I went to that demonic place, Motel 6, dude. They put humiliation rituals. They try to get me reactive or abuse every day, knock on my door, go in my room when I was gone, dude. And I never reacted in a way where it would make me the bad guy. I knew how to keep my shit together. And it was because of my lessons. It was because of those past experiences, me lashing out. I learned how to control my wrath. And once I figured out how to control it, it was game over. And if it wasn't for me controlling my stuff now, I wouldn't have made this much progress of getting justice. Because when the whole town is trying to take you out, when the whole town is in on it, that can get you very angry at you. You can get you angry, but I've been able to just keep the faith. I've been able to just hold it down, keep my head down, and stay divine. And that kept me a long way to get my justice. You read about that? Yeah. You right about that. You gotta appreciate how far you come because you gotta think. Can't be too hard on yourself, especially when you're doing your best. I learned that. When you're doing your best, you ain't gotta be too critical, but you can be analytical. It's good to be analytical and be a good observer, but when you're doing your all and you're doing your best, you ain't gotta be critical on yourself, man, because you're doing yourself more of a disservice than a service. I learned that. It's like, don't be too hard on yourself. Just learn your lessons. Like, yeah, learn your lessons, bro. Learn your lessons. Sit back and learn, bro. That's what I did. Life is the biggest teacher. Like I'm not gonna lie, I learned the most out of life, and just not looking at everything as a coincidence, and look at it like looking like a growth lesson. Like looking, I never looked at life in any type of way but a lesson. Yeah. Even in the heartbreaks, even with these weird women I was dealing with, dude. I'm so glad I don't have any kids out here. I'm so glad I don't be out here just fucking and shit. The type of women that I dealt with, it was basically me dating them, because when I love strong. They're not gonna admit it, but when I was talking to those women, we were basically dating, bro. Cause the love that I give a motherfucker, I can connect. I can create a soul contract that's unspoken of. Even those wicked women, I learned a lesson from. I learned self-worth, and I learned that, dude, I bring more than I ever thought I could offer, to where people's whole life will change. Yeah. People's whole life would change when me being connected to them. And I had to learn that not everybody deserves those type of experiences. Not everybody deserves that healing. And when I learned that, my standards are intact. I don't just be out here looking for any woman, because not every woman deserves that access to God, to Big Mama, to abundance, to blessings, unstopped, an overflow of abundance. Because if I love you like that, I'm not even giving you all that love. I'm going to protect you, and I'm going to bring in abundance, joy, and peace. These last three women, dude, they didn't deserve it. And I pulled that away. And these are the same women that's doing love spells on me to this day. But I don't want nothing to do with them. Comalie, Terry, and Tammy. Gross. These are channel names. This is a skit. Them are the worst women you can be with. They're fake as hell. I'm glad they came in my life, because they were a catalyst for me to know my self-worth, and for me not to settle for a narcissist. So I'm not mad at them when it comes to that. But them the type of woman you don't want to be around. Different face, same energy type of woman. To where you don't want to deal with those type of women. You don't want to deal with those type of men. Yeah, you're right about that. They don't do no healing. They don't want to do that shadow work. Shadow work ain't easy, but it's necessary if you want to change and you don't want to keep attracting the same type of experiences. So I'm glad I dealt with them, because they got their karma. Plus I learned some lessons, and I got some music out of it. Cause I'm not gonna lie, there was probably some pain there, but it was the wounds that were open. I can't say they probably did cause a little pain, but it wasn't like a big deal. I made a lot of good music dealing with those women. I healed myself with the music, and there was a little piece. You got to give thanks to the shadow work and the great mother and the music making. But I'm grateful to meet those women, because I made a lot of good music, especially Tammy, dude. Dude, I'm glad I met Tammy. And if you guys are cross watchers, you guys know Tammy. I don't talk to Tammy. I don't know what. I haven't talked to her in like 6-7 years. Comalie, wicked Hindu ass. I haven't talked to her in over like 9 months. They're out there saying I date them. If they're out there saying we ever had sex, they're lying. They're lying, bro. I haven't had sex in like 6 years, dude. It was like before I went to LA and I moved out there. That was the last time. It was like 5 years ago, bro. I'm not out here fucking nobody. I'm gonna get my butt beat if I go out there and do that, bro. Yeah, it might pop up in your head when you see a thick bitch, but not any time. But I gotta get those thoughts in my mind, because, dude, I don't want to get in trouble. Like, I'm just waiting on my divine counterpart, man. I'm just waiting on that divine counterpart, because I can't think like that. I don't want to get in trouble. I sound like a kid, but it's the truth. I don't let the lust go away. I just use that lust in different directions, Make music, think about her in my head, think about stuff like that. But I don't go out here and look at certain women. You might see something, it's appreciation, but you don't lust over it. You don't lust over it. Because when you do that, you end up going in a rabbit hole too, where you want to see some more butt and some more wand. And it's not good to do that. So I end up cutting it off where it started, because I don't want to have a big fire to where I can't tame the fire. Because sometimes you can dibble and dabble in the lust so much, it's gonna feel like you need it at that moment. Next thing you know, you destroy your streak. Then that first nut, you're good, but then you keep going back. That's when you're messing up your spiritual alignment to where now you're disaligned. It's a tricky situation. That's why you just stay away from it. You just stay away from that stuff, man. It's harder to say than to do. But when you look around and they basically normalizing fornicating, masturbation, watching adult content, that's when you know to step away from it. When they're normalizing it, that's when you know it ain't right. I love Jules. I rock with Jules. I'm not trying to throw you under the bus, Jules, but you got a wife, bro. This is Ring IQ. You got a wife. You're watching porn. You're always talking about other women. Dude, that ain't good, bro. That ain't good to talk about. I don't care if your wife ain't in the room, bro. You're not supposed to talk about other women like that when you're married and you got kids. It seemed like you're a good dude, but George, you can't talk like that, bro. I don't want to tell you that. You should already know that, brother. I don't know if I know Ring IQ don't watch me, but I got to put that out in the ether so it can connect to his aura so his ancestors can hear it. You can't be out there talking like that when you got a wife, dude. Bro, you can't be out there talking like that. I be hearing he be saying some weird shit. Like, bro, you got a wife, bro. Like, bro, you can't talk like that, bro. You literally have a wife. And you talking like that, dude. Just like me. I got a wife, and I'm over here talking about other thick women. I'm watching porn. I'm looking at other girls' OnlyFans. Dude, the OnlyFans I need is my wife. It may not be perfect all the time, but you gotta have devoted loyalty, bro. That's how you get blessed in your connection. What you are looking like is a karmic. You don't want to be the karmic in the relationship to where you're the problem. I rock with Jules because he's a good father, but there's some things he be saying I don't rock with. Like, bro, you can't be looking at other women like that, bro, when you're married. Your marriage ain't gonna last long, bro. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate that. Remember your potential, my friend. You're the power. Hey, I'm gonna screenshot you, bro. Hey, man, subscribe to your boy, man. I think you Korean, too. Look, I'm not saying that like a bad thing. I love all my people, bro. I love how diverse it is. Hey! Like, we got niggas all around the world fucking with us. I love that. I ain't gonna front. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I gotta get back on that nigga Jules. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he's one of the best to do it in a sense because he's funny, but bro, he gotta stop talking like that. And then you're watching porn and shit. And you have a wife, dude. Dude, your marriage ain't gonna last long. Your girl's she's gonna get fed up with that stuff. Cause what if your girl don't do that, but you do that? That's when you become the problem, bro. Like, Jules, stop doing that shit, dude. Like, respectfully, bro. Respectfully, bro. Like, stop doing that. He's over there always looking at other women. He's always talking about other women. And he has a wife. It's like, bro, are you not happy? I get the gay jokes. The gay jokes are funny. I'm not going to say it, but he's funny as hell. But don't talk about other women like that, like you're single or something. It just doesn't look right, bro. It doesn't look right. You're not going to get blessed when you're out there not being your full version of a good man for your wife. It just doesn't look right, bro. You just want to do your part to make sure you're not the problem. You don't want to be the problem and then expect your marriage to go, to bear fruit when you're over there not putting your all in. I'm watching Jules because I like Jules, but I'm watching that guy, man. I'm watching him. I don't care how old you are, bro. You got to operate a certain type of level of integrity because no matter what, your kids are watching you. You bear the generational. You bear generational effect. Like, you can break curses or you can put curses. on your family because your kids is right underneath you, bro. So you got to make sure you're not being a problem for your bloodline. Respectfully. But shout out to Jewish Ring IQ, bro. That's the only dude I listen to when it comes to this boxing shit. That's why I got a little grace for the guy. But I be hearing him say some things that it don't ring right, bro. You got a wife, bro, and you talking like that, bro. You got to be careful. You going to end up losing her, bro. You're going to end up losing her talking like that. But what I picked up, the divine, Papa Seit. Papa Seit is down here. Well, if you don't know who Papa Seit is, he's one of the ancient primordial fathers, aka he's a big ass dragon. But a lot of people forget about him. But he enforces justice and he brings order through chaos. He causes disruptions in the illusionary world of the Matrix and just things that are built off of fakeness. And he comes in at certain cycles. When there's enough conscious beings actively putting out the work to stabilize the land and to bring out truth, and when it's valid for him to come, he'll come, and that's what's been going on. He don't just come and clear the rubbish for the wicked. That's why he'll wait and let the wicked basically tie a noose for themselves. But there's been active pursuit on clearing out the debris of the realm to where there's more stabilizers than there are poisoners. So you got Papa Seit here because justice can be put out and not have it go back to the enemy's hands. Just like this. If you got somebody that can finish the chess game quick, but you know the enemy is going to take over the board, you might as well wait. You might as well wait on the enemy to just do what the enemy do. That's kind of how they think. But if there's enough people that is fighting for justice, if there's enough people that's maintaining balance, when he cleans the chessboard out, those people are going to be put in place to where it makes sense to bring out justice. And that's what's going on right now. And they know what's going on. See, Seit can come down here enough to where he's not going to mess up his vibration. And what's going on in the ether, they thought there was a satellite. They thought there was another comet coming. But all they were doing was picking up the physical presence of Seit. I don't know if this was the other day, a few days ago, or is it coming? But there was a disruption in the satellites up there where they caught some images they're not going to tell you about. But that was Papa Seit. Papa Seit is here. He's bringing down divine wrath for the Great Mother because he's still connected to the Great Mother. Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Hey, that's a brother right there. Shout out to you, man. But yeah, he's still connected to the Great Mother, and he listens to what Big Mama got to say, and he'll do it. And he'll be around the ones that's connected to the truth and that relies on the truth and don't let nobody tell them what the truth ain't. He's around those people that stand in their authority and are sovereign. And he stands around his children because some people are direct bloodlines to some of these ancient beings. It's just how the game go. So, but you actively keeping your vibration high and you are maintaining alignment throughout all the chaos, which basically that means make an order to the chaos. You're going to get justice in all areas of your life. And there's high-level establishments of corruption that's connected to you because these people have been targeting you. So everything that is attached to you with malicious intent, anybody that's been trying to mess with you, copy you, they got to deal with Seit. And Seit don't miss. Seit has a weird way of destroying people and dismantling things because he's the operator of this. He's the operator when it comes to this stuff. This ain't nothing to him. But he only come down here when the vibration's high enough to where it's not debilitating. And when there's enough people stabilizing energies to where when he cleans the chessboard, it won't go in the wrong enemy's hands. That's when he'll come down here. It's at that point to where he's going to clear the chessboard out. It won't go in the enemy's hands. So yeah, he's down here bringing abrupt change coming in. Like all your enemies are toast. No butter, toast. They're toast. I'm talking about Seit don't miss, to where you even got the government changing rules in regards of how people treated you, how fraudulent and how easy it was to get a whole bunch of corrupted individuals to work, basically to work to pimp the system out to take everything from you. Seit is here to fix that, and Seit here is here to use their same system to prosecute them against their will, because if it was up to these criminals, they'll end up just pimping out the system again to get them out of trouble. But since this is a primordial forces, this is a primordial ancient active force out here, you can't trick him. You can't trick him. You gotta take your karma. So karma is actively being dished out on the realm. And what they've been trying to do with this Manchurian candidate thing, they keep trying to attack children because they're trying to lower the vibration of the realm. So they've been literally out here trying to actively hurt children, but the National Guard is being sent to certain schools, so these school shootings won't be happening, because they're literally, bro, we're going to do some crazy stuff. But you are going to see more National Guards at the schools, though. You're going to see way more National Guards in the streets. It's not to enforce military action protocol. It's mainly to protect the ones in the streets, to protect the innocent ones, because you got to think, a lot of these cops are afraid to put their life on the line for the job. A lot of these cops are corrupt. Just like the Peoria police, they're corrupt as hell. They were all in on it, me getting taken out for some money. The mayor was in on it, bro. So you really can't put your faith in no cop when the whole town has been compromised, taking the devil's bait. Not all the cops are up there, but majority of them are up there to where you're not getting any justice, to where they're bringing in the military. They're bringing in the military, bro. That's just how Seit is. Seit can bring in authoritative positions connected to divine justice. That's Seit for you. He's trying to uphold the truth and destroy delusion and break away illusions and make an order through the chaos. That's basically making order through the chaos. So you always got to give thanks to Papa Seit and the Great Mother. Because without Great Mother, he wouldn't be giving out these precise orders, and he wouldn't be this tapped in. So I know they say Seit is the devil, but that's that Christian stuff. They demonize Seit because they don't want people to tap into that primordial energy. And because when you tap into Seit, he's going to mirror you exactly how you are. You're going to see the illusions that you're carrying, and then you're going to see the truth beyond the veil. So yeah, they're not going to raise Seit up. They're not going to put Seit in good regards. They're going to attach him to be the adversary, because that energy is so strong and potent, it breaks through all illusion. And what's crazy is the story of Osiris back in ancient Egyptian day is Seit, and then Osiris is the adversary. They switched it around. There was many texts talking about Seit coming down here and rising, but they deleted those books, just like Lilith. Dude, the Vatican destroyed all the books that talked about Seit and Lilith and Sophia and different type of primordial beings that we don't even know about. That was never wicked, but they don't play around with the illusions. They don't play around with wrestling. They're boxers. They don't like that fake shit. Even though I love pro wrestling, but you got to get the analogy I'm trying to give to you. It's all about truth and sovereignty and rising through the chaos and making order from it. That's Papa Seit. That's not evil. And I literally got the visions of what Seit went through. Seit went through some shit because he had a lot of neuromelanin. Basically, if you got a lot of neuromelanin, you're gonna go through some shit because just that jealousy from the system. That's that jealousy from the matrix. Some people can't escape this stuff. So they're gonna really project on you, make it hard for you. But that's when the adversary thing comes. Seit learns from his enemies. Seit always learned from his enemies. I remember when I was in hell, I was at the Motel 6. Seit was telling me about my enemies. He was telling me, hey nigga, this is finna happen. Nigga, This is finna happen, bro. I need you to be ready. I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck is that? Look, I'm over here like, what the fuck? That was Seit. I'm like, yo, that's Seit talking to me. And mind you, this was in the middle of initiation. Like, when I went in there, that was initiation. And I knew it was Papa Seit because I ended up getting a download. Children of Seit will rise to power. I'm a child of Seit. But I got that information when I was in the verge of being taken out of here, because that place was meant to take me out, but thank God I was connected to the Great Mother and Papa Seit, and I don't play around. I don't bullshit. I made it. But I got to give thanks to the divine, though, man. I can't just act like it was just me. I was getting guided. So, got to give thanks to the divine. The Great Mother, Papa Seit, my ancestors, divine concert, my higher self. It wasn't just me. No. It was a divine, the Great Mother, Big Papa, my ancestors, my spiritual team. They helped me get out of there. But I remember Papa Seit showed me who my enemies was, helped me learn about them. Because if it wasn't for me learning about my enemies, I wouldn't know how to disarm them. I wouldn't know how to destroy them. Learn the enemy. Seit is a big teacher of that. You got to learn your enemy. You got to learn the system that they made. How you going to rise through it and make order from it if you don't learn the system? Yeah, Seit was never the one, confirmation with that going off. Big Papa Seit was never supposed to be deemed as evil. He's supposed to be the liberator of chaos. He'd be the liberator of the matrix and show you how to run the matrix after you rise through it. And then the embodiment of order when it all gets destroyed. He'll end up coming in and he'd make a way better system through the pieces. Basically, you get a puzzle. No, you get, let's just say a building break down. And we're going to represent that like the matrix. Seit is a big pioneer. He's one of the first pioneers to really show you how to make structure and order out of chaos. So this whole system is destroyed. He'll use the same pieces that built the system up, and he'll rearrange it to a way to where it looked different, and there's way more order out of it and structure. That's Seit. That's why they don't talk about Seit, because he'll use that same thing that he's using to drain people, and he'll use that to where it looks one of the best systems out here. That's making lime to a lemon. That's getting lemons and making limeade. Like, dude, you didn't even have lime to begin with. How'd you get lemons and make limeade? Nigga, where the lime at? Look, this is Seit. He'll get a banana peel. He'll get banana peels and make durian out of it. That's Seit. Like, if you don't know what durian is a widely loved fruit in South Asia and just the Asian countries. China like it, but Thailand love it. Malaysia love their durian. So they get some banana peels and some banana seeds and make durian out of it. That's Seit. Yeah, they don't like Seit. They're never gonna tell you what Seit really is, because they don't want you to tap into making order out of chaos. They don't want you to know about alchemy. They don't want you to know about that stuff. You feel me? I get it. That they ain't gonna never tell you who the Seit really is, and then learning about your enemies. Your enemies don't want you to learn about them so you can destroy them and take them down. Come on now. Why would they promote a man like that? So yeah, they're gonna throw his name with the devil, but I'm gonna tell you who the devil is. It's Moloch. It's that Yadabrav being. Seit never takes sacrifices from children. That's the devil. That's Moloch. That is Yadabrav, because he's not connected to source, so he has to recycle energy. He's the king of disorder and disillusion. Seit is the god of chaos and order and the truth. They're never going to tell you the real Seit. They destroyed those books. They'll never tell you who Seit really is. People get him confused with Yadabrav. No, it's Yadabrav versus Seit. It's Yalabra versus Seit. It ain't no Seit versus God. Nah, that's not what it is. Big Mama rock with Seit. If it wasn't for Big Mama, there would be no Seit. You can't go off of Egyptian mythology, bro. That stuff is not even legit. There's gods out there that they removed. That stuff, like, they don't really know about Anubis. That stuff ain't right, bro. You can't go off of Egyptian mythology at a certain point, especially right now, because Egyptian was the whole world. They keep putting Egypt as if Egypt was just in Egypt. Just like how they did Morocco. Don't get me wrong, Morocco holy, but there was more places that embodied that Morocco energy. You know what I'm saying? And you can't really go off of what's in those pyramids, because there's older pyramids on this planet that they don't tell you about, because they keep hiding stuff from us. There's pyramids that are more ancient than the ones in Egypt, but you gotta find them. They gotta stop hiding stuff from us. And we haven't even found them. That Grand Canyon got older pyramids than the ones up there. We can't act like we know everything. Yeah, we can't act like we know everything when we don't know everything. We don't know everything now. We're beginning to learn stuff. But you really can't go off of what they've been telling you, bro. Especially this Egyptian mythology. That is not the truth. There's cosmic stories that they removed. There's Seit fighting tyrannical beings on the planet. There's stories of him rising through the chaos and making order out of it and reigning. Confirmation. The first dynasty came from Seit. The first dynasty came from Seit. They're never going to tell you that, yes, Seit ruled this goddamn planet. But he didn't rule it how they make it, but they removed that stuff. They removed that stuff. That's why I'm like, I always give my time to clear the air with Seit. Shet. He was the pioneer of melanin. Like, bro, when they say he's a fallen angel, I'm gonna tell you the truth about that. He risked his divinity to get tarnished and be trapped in this reincarnation cycle to be an embodiment of being a rising phoenix. That's a fallen angel. Like, he had to come down here and basically sacrifice a piece of himself to wake his people up, to wake up those primordial beings. That's the real definition of a fallen angel. Not that wicked stuff. When it comes to that wicked embodiment, okay, you can look at a fallen angel like that. But the real first pioneer was Seit. There was these beings that were half created. They weren't created fully. And they came down here and they were holding the people back, putting them into fear, stuff like that. So Seit didn't like that. Seit ended up coming down here. He went through hell. I think I went through hell. He went through hell, because there was it was a supreme deities. You could say Zeus. Seit had to go through Zeus, forgetting things, going through that tunnel of forgetfulness, but happened to rise through it. Ended up finding himself on his path to where he took down the gods. But he had to become his dragon form. He couldn't do it with the type of information he came with. He had to unlock it through his destined path. But he came down here and became that embodiment to awaken people neuromelanin. That's the fallen angel real aspect. Like Prometheus stealing the lightning from Zeus. That's the story of Seit coming down here stealing the keys to ascension and giving it to the people. That's what that really is. Not a fallen angel, or you were divine and then you became wicked. Dude, that's that biblical stuff. You can't go off of that. You can't go off of that stuff, bro. That's not the truth, especially this Egyptian mythology stuff, bro. It's not ancient enough. That stuff is like 20,000. That stuff's like, bro, 200, 300 years old. That's how you know it's fake. That stuff is not real, bro. Don't get me wrong, they probably got some of the names real, but a lot of that stuff ain't real. A lot of that stuff is like biblical talk. Confirmation. It's not legit. It's not legit, bro. It's not legit. confirmation. It's just not legit, so you can't really go off of that. Can't really go off of this recent mythology on certain things. Even in the Hindu shit. The Hindu shit is more ancient shit. You had people that used to have experiences, confirmation, people that walk with those gods. Those weren't really gods. Those are supreme beings. So they hit different. Some of them are gods, but there were people that actually walked that path and experienced the wars in heaven and experienced the stories to where when you look at the Hindu mythology, it's starting to become biblical. It's starting to become just what the Egyptian mythology is. Now it's infested with archon gods. Like some of those aren't even real. Some of those people aren't even real in there. And then people just giving their energy away to an alien deity that's draining them. But some of that stuff is real. Like, those guys are realer than the sun. Some of those guys are real as shit. And they're the embodiment of certain things to where they're the pioneers. That's why, yeah, I don't look at certain things with a grain of salt, but I have to question everything and I have to get confirmations. I'm letting you know, the Hindu shit is ancient as shit. But that was that shit's deep. It ain't just this is when it become biblical, that they make Israel biblical. You feel me? They think that those ancient supreme beings were just in India. Bro, they were all over this goddamn planet. That's when they religionized, I don't even know if that's a word, religionized a certain part to make that part only holy and only the thing that can relate to the mythology. But bro, that stuff was all around. That stuff was cosmic. That stuff was in the stars more than anything. And they definitely come down here because, yeah, they come down here, bro. That shit is legit. That stuff is legit. Like, there's some gods that I can say that's like a formula that ain't really real, but some of that stuff I can say is real. Like the Orishas and some of the primordial Hindu gods and goddesses and some of the ancient Egyptian gods. And you would notice, yeah, that shit's legit as hell, bro. I'm gonna let you know, confirmation. Realer than the sun you see out there. Realer than the sun you see out there, bro. My promise. And Papa says, my Papa, he won't let me come on here and lie. I would have been taken off the map if I'm out here just speaking out of my mouth. Because Papa said, don't play that. You ain't finna represent me and just speak a whole bunch of lies. I would have been up out of here, bro. Would have been up out of here. He don't play around with liars. But yeah, this shit's legit. Shit's legit. But I will say, I gotta throw this in there for Big Mama and Papa say, it's like, yo, you had these karmic tarot readers that's been stealing stuff from you. If you are a content creator, if you somebody that has a unique personality, if you are in this spiritual community, there's been people that's been copying you and they've been getting away for it for a long time. And you're not going to have to worry about people stealing your work because they're going to make an example out of the people that's been stealing your work to where everybody's going to see is because of them copying you. And everybody's going to know they copied you because you're going to blow up to where everybody knows this is who you are. That's like me acting like Brother Panic. I'm over here talking about ways how to die and not come back. Just talking about what Brother Panic is about. And then I'm actively saying this is my work. Brother Panic is big enough to peep. It's like, I'm not Brother Panic. This ain't who I am. Like, this dude's lying. You're going to be that big. Your energy is going to be that strong to where people's going to know that ain't you. That ain't them. The real Slim Shady is standing up. And basically, these people were taking shortcuts to get financial abundance. Did you see how, even though you got people copying you, to make money off of your work, you still didn't take shortcuts. Like, yeah, they were making probably quick money off of your work, but the divine is proud of you not taking shortcuts. Because I'm not gonna lie, People were making a whole bunch of money off of my work, but I kept myself in my integrity. I didn't care, and I kept it moving. You know what I'm saying? I didn't let that get to me to where I had to feel like I'm competing with my own stuff. I'm like, I know my time is coming. You know, I know my time is coming to where I'm going to, you know, get the recognition that I need. I'm not going to worry about these fake people stealing my work. And by you maintaining your vibration and staying authentic and staying on your path, you brought in karma for everybody that stole your work and took shortcuts to get money. Because you're not getting outside of your bounds of integrity and morality. Like, I'm not going to force abundance. I am abundance. This is certain times where I don't need it. There's certain times where I don't have to rely on it, so I'm not going to trip. And these people, they don't want me to talk. These people took shortcuts. There's been a lot of people over the years stealing my work. But, dude, they're all going down to where you're not going to be able to do that ever again. You're mocking the divine at that point, because I'm not out here mocking nobody's divinity. You're mocking my divinity, you're hating on me, and you're using my work to say it's yours and getting paid from it. Taking shortcuts, that is illegal. That's spiritually illegal. Yes, it is. And these people are going to lose everything, and everything that they wished upon you, they're going to get 1,000 times fold, and it's coming in quick. You're not going to be having no copycats like that no more, because the consequences are deadly to copy you. The consequences are deadly to take shortcuts. It's not going to be as easy as it is. It's not going to be easy, because you notice these people on their deathbed. You notice these people got diseases they can't get rid of. You notice that these people are bankrupt. These people can't keep a few dollars in their pocket. These people's channels are getting removed. All because of these people were faking the divine and saying, slandering your name, isolating your channel, isolating your reach and your potential, your growth, your impact, and going behind the scenes, actively trying to be you. That is an illegal crime in the spiritual realm. And everybody attached to that type of energy, even in the future, are going to be dealt with. They're going to be dealt with to where you're not going to have those type of people saying that this is them and it ain't them. People are going to prison because of that stuff. Because these people are fueled with greed. If they're willing to take shortcuts in the spiritual realm, they're willing to take shortcuts in other areas in their life. And the divine had to make it seem like they got away with certain things. And everybody that's been doing it from a long time, they're attached to criminal activity. I'm talking about everybody. Everybody that's been stealing and copying off of you, making a profit. These people are attached to criminal activity. So they're going to prison. They're getting sat down. Plus they got to deal with health conditions. It's a domino effect. It's the avalanche. It's the avalanche unfolding. You're not going to have to worry about these weirdos no more doing that shit. I promise you that. You just got to keep being yourself and keep holding your head down and doing the work. Don't worry about who's copying you, who's making money off you. The divine got your back. The divine got your back. Don't worry about that. Let the divine fight your battles, and they're taking care of all your copycats and your pretenders around you. They could be on the internet. There was a group of karmic tarot readers. There was a group of karmic tarot readers out here, bro, ganging up on me, bro, trying to block my reach. There was somebody in YouTube that lost their job, bro. They lost their job. They were literally, that's prejudice, bro. How can you be on YouTube trying to block my channel, bro, and not to let it get reach, bro? Like that's like prejudice, bro. That's prejudice. I'm not out here breaking no rules. There's people that was up in YouTube doing it, but we took care of that because they're connected to criminal activity. They were skimming off wages off people's account, and there's third-party investigation units in YouTube that got record of people in that department stealing people wages. So they're not going to talk about it, but they did get arrested. They did get dealt with. So your channel is not going to have those issues like it did. You know, because some people got to use means of YouTube as public domain and to get reach. Not because you're looking for money. When you keep it in that divine light and you keep it purposeful, your channel is going to reach who it needs to reach regardless, because you're not doing it for no money. You're doing it because of purpose. So always do things out of purpose and never for no dollar, no shortcut. And you're going to get the path clear for you. But yeah, man, I don't want to speak too much, go over your head. I just had to throw that out there for the great mother, Papa Seit. But yeah, man. Yeah, straight to it, straight to it. But if you want to send a cash donation to your boy, Easy Fiscal 1. EJJIFISKER 1. All lowercase with the 1 at the end. EG Fiscal 1. If you need any of my services, just hit the email up, shamantroops@gmail.com. I'll be doing a little special. $15, 20-minute read, 25-minute read. $15, 25-minute read, probably like 30-minute read. This is just a little special I'm doing for the week. $15, 30 minutes. I use Oracle plus Tarot. Plus, yeah, I do a lot. So if you need a reading, bro, $15, 30-minute reading. I might even go a little over if depending on how much I love you. And I know this is kind of how I do it. As long as you pay me and you're upright, bro, I might go 40 minutes for you, you know? It's just how I do it. But I have to time it a little bit and give you what you're supposed to get and not go too overboard. But if you're looking to take advantage of that sale, just hit the email up, shamantroops@gmail.com. $15, 30-minute read. Minimum time, 30 minutes. I use the Oracle plus Tarot plus the downloads that I get. $15, 30-minute reads. But yeah, if you want to check out my Patreon, patreon.com/shamantroops. There's an S at the end of truth, so it's Shaman Troops. But I'm out, man. Peace.